Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. I'm a big fan of Key and Peele. Do you remember these guys? It's great comedians, and they had a really great sketch show. And one of the sketches they did was a rapper who got arrested because he keeps rapping about the crimes that he did in great detail. And the cops were able to say, "Oh, okay, well, you're clearly guilty of these crimes. You rapped about them." So the moral of the story is, don't put your crimes down into music or on video if you can help it. But Nancy Pelosi is not that smart. New video out from Nancy Pelosi. She filmed all of her response to January 6th while January 6th was happening. And it turns out that Nancy Pelosi believes that she is a total failure for Capitol security in newly released tapes. She says, "We're calling National Guard now. They should have been called. They should have been here to start. We have totally failed." We have totally failed, not Trump.
How many times did the members ask, are we prepared? Are we prepared? We're not. Prepared for the worst. We're calling the National Guard now. Should have been here to start out. I just don't understand this. We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they had. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more. So what's the prospect? We're going to stay here all day, the rest of our lives, or what? We're here until what? Until the National Guard decides to come and get rid of these people? Oh my God, I can't believe the stupidity of this. And I take full responsibility.
This on the heels of other mysterious video from the January 6th committee released showing Nancy Pelosi wandering the hallways, certainly not in a emergency mode, wandering the hallways. You can see right here Nancy Pelosi waiting for her daughter to keep filming her, and she's put it all on tape. Nancy Pelosi also putting on tape multiple conversations with Chuck Schumer, Ilhan Omar, where she admits that all of the security failures fall on the Democrats. Watch.
Who was that, the reporter?
Some tough guy.
Who didn't? Who are they talking about?
The police.
No sense of urgency. Okay.
Wow.
I don't care what they say. They should have had much more anticipation about the National Guard.
Hey, let me tell you.
In case you're wondering who the OG is on all of this, we've been speaking with Kash Patel about this subject matter for a very long time. Kash Patel saying, "I was in the White House with Donald Trump authorizing the National Guard."
I was there in the Oval Office days before January 6th when the president executed his authority to authorize the National Guard. And we've covered that. He cannot order them. He cannot hijack the military and order them deployed domestically. After President Trump's authorization, we immediately sent the Secretary of the Army, who is responsible for the National Guard writ large, to Mayor Bowser and the Capitol Police controlled by then Speaker Pelosi, because as the governing authorities of the Washington District area, they have to make a National Guard request pursuant to a presidential authorization before the military can go ahead and deploy National Guard troops across anywhere in America.
So if you're looking for people that were actually responsible for January 6th, look to Democrats and Democrat leadership, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer specifically, who were in charge of protecting the Capitol, who rejected Donald Trump's National Guard, and who, when January 6th was actually ongoing, straight up said, "This is our fault. We totally failed." The end.
New video has emerged from the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, showing then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi hours after rioters stormed the building. The footage was turned over to Congress by HBO and obtained by CBS. And her comments are featured in a documentary by her daughter, Alexandra Pelosi. In it, the then House Speaker can be heard lashing out at then President Donald Trump. Pelosi also criticized the decision not to have the National Guard on site that day.
How many times did the members ask, are we prepared? Are we prepared? We're not. Prepared for the worst. We're calling the National Guard now. We should have been here to start out.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarland is on Capitol Hill for us. And Scott, you've gone over this, so tell us what else Nancy Pelosi has to say and what you found most interesting in these tapes.
An awful lot of clips here. She's heard saying that Donald Trump is an enemy, a domestic enemy in the White House, and that he would have to pay a price somehow for the attack on the Capitol January 6th. She also talks about a prompt impeachment and potentially mobilizing the cabinet or urging the cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment and remove Trump from office. You hear all this as she responds to the real-time information she's getting about this riotous mob of Trump supporters breaching the Capitol and attacking police officers. She also is unequivocal in her condemnation of the security failures that day by the U.S. Capitol Police, by the Sergeant-at-Arms of the House, of the security officials who would leave their jobs just hours after the U.S. Capitol attack, after the disgraceful failures of security. All of this comes as Congress investigates the security failures and how they happened that day. A Republican-led House subcommittee has been doing this for some time. They collected this video, though it was Democrats who released it this morning, ahead of what Republicans are likely to use as a way to criticize Nancy Pelosi.
Scott, it's almost 4 years later. Why are we just seeing these videos now?
Some of this is coming up from that congressional investigation. They're scooping this up as they try to get to the bottom of how the security failures happened, how to prevent them in the future.